Hello, and welcome to the Pathways to Success Ready to Work series presented by the Career and College Transitions team at San Diego Continuing Education. Today's topic is diversity in the workplace. Building a diverse team is a worthy goal, but there should be a lot of thought into how to make it work. Creating a more diverse workplace will help to keep team members' biases in check and make them question their assumptions. All of this leads to teams that are smarter and ultimately help to make an organization more successful. As we move through this presentation, I want you to think about two thoughts. First, do you think that employers think about diversity when they are putting teams together? And second, do you think you have any biases that prevent you from working effectively in a team? Hopefully, after the presentation, your understanding of diversity in the workplace will change on how you answer those two questions. Before we move on, let's take a look at a video. Although the narrator speaks about crayons, try to imagine those crayons as different people within an organization.
While walking in a toy store the day before today, I overheard a crayon box with many things to say. "I don't like red," said Yellow, and Green said, "Nor do I. And no one here likes orange, but no one knows just why." "We're a box of crayons that doesn't get along," said Blue to all the others. "Something here is wrong." Well, I bought that box of crayons and took it home with me and laid out all the crayons so all of them could see. They watched me as I colored with red and blue and green, and black and white and orange, and colors in between. They watched as green became grass, and blue became sky, the yellow shining bright on white clouds drifting by. Colors changed as they touched, becoming something new. They watched me as I colored. They watched till I was through. When I'd finally finished and began to walk away, and as I did, that box of crayons had something more to say. "I do like red," said Yellow, and Green said, "So do I. And Blue, you were terrific, so high up in the sky." "We're a box of crayons, each one of us unique. But when we get together, the picture is complete."
What is diversity? When you think about diversity, what instantly comes to your mind? If you had to provide someone with a definition for diversity, how would you define it? Diversity is no longer just about race and gender. Today it is much broader and encompasses so much more. There are a lot of ways to define diversity, but simply diversity is defined as understanding people's differences and how we treat them based on those differences. For example, race, gender, sexual orientation, culture, ethnicity, appearance, thinking style, and working style. Diversity is about acknowledging and understanding, not just tolerating, all the ways we are different and similar, and understanding our own biases and prejudices so that we are able to be effective in the workplace. Diversity is about minorities and women in the workplace. It is also about the internal employees and external prospective clients, the customers, that we interact with. Why diverse teams? Team diversity refers to the differences between individual members of a team. Team differences are usually associated with age, nationality, religion, sexual orientation, and political preference. Differences can also include an employee's skill level or their functional background. A team's diverse makeup can have a positive as well as a negative effect on the team as a whole and the team's outcomes. Team diversity allows us to work collaboratively with everyone in your organization. As we continue our discussion on diversity, I want you to think about some of the teams that you have been a part of, whether it was in school, work, or socially. Think about the differences of the people in those groups and how you interacted with them based on those differences. Benefits of diversity. A team's diversity can have an effect on each team member's satisfaction, as well as how innovative the team is when they work together to meet set outcomes. When the team is diverse, there will be a major influence on the processes as well as the output of the team's work. Working with people who are different from you provides an opportunity for you to challenge your brain and overcome its old way of thinking. When people from diverse backgrounds work together, there is the ability to change not only your behavior, but also the group's behavior so that everyone has a voice. When everyone has a voice, creativity can occur, which in turn leads to innovative ideas. Employees in inclusive environments feel appreciated for their unique characteristics and therefore comfortable sharing their ideas and other aspects of their true and authentic selves. What does this quote mean to you? Have you ever worked in an environment where you did not feel included based on your ethnicity, age, gender, or sexual orientation? How did that make you feel? We're going to take a look at the next video. This is just another way that you can think about what it means to be a part of a diverse and inclusive environment.
A brave new world of diversity. Different people, different skills, different ideas, different dreams. Diversity is the one thing we all have in common. Diversity is also the key condition for a changing and dynamic workplace. Because the only way to successfully face the unknown, untried and untested challenges of tomorrow is through our differences, not our similarities. A meeting room where everyone's views are heard. A workplace where everyone's talents are valued. A world where everyone matters. The companies that embrace diversity in this way have the best people and the best new ideas. And the way to make this happen is by being inclusive. The businesses that have inclusive leaders are best placed for a bright future in this brave new world. And the people charged with making this happen are you. Yes, you. Inclusivity is in your hands. If you see the world through the eyes of others, inclusivity happens. If you are curious about other people's thinking and ideas, inclusivity happens. If you work collaboratively, inclusivity happens. Leading in a brave new world of diversity explores and explains what it takes to be an inclusive leader who promotes diversity. We hope you enjoy reading it. Are you up for the challenge in this brave new world?
Employment diversity and inclusion. Did you know that diversity and inclusion have two very different meanings? Diversity is about creating a culture where everyone can thrive and contribute to an organization. Inclusion is a collaborative, supportive, and respectful environment that increases the participation and contribution of all employees. Together, diversity and inclusion is a company's mission and should be part of their strategies and practices to support a diverse workplace. As you can see, these two work hand in hand. They can either work alone or they can work together. They are best when the employer has implemented both diversity and inclusion. A couple of questions to think about. Earlier, I asked you to think about what diversity means to you. After hearing the definition on inclusion, have you changed your thoughts on diversity? And what do you think of when you think of inclusivity in an organization? Diversity is different. Diversity looks different depending on your age and your cultural background and experiences. Employees who are millennials or Gen Y, those who are in the age group of 24 to 39, view diversity in terms of cognitive diversity. Cognitive diversity is defined as the blending of different backgrounds, experiences, and perspectives within a team. Millennials believe diversity is more about using all of the traits of cognitive diversity to overcome any challenges in a team while also achieving the goals of the business. For millennials, they believe cognitive diversity is necessary for innovation, and because of this, they are more focused on teamwork. Now, on the other hand, boomers and Gen Xers, those who are in the age group of 39 to 50 and above, View diversity as representation of fairness and protection to all, regardless of gender, race, religion, ethnicity, and sexual orientation. For these groups, diversity integrates individuals of all demographics into one workplace, which in essence means everyone is the same and should be treated the same. In their eyes, the company has achieved compliance and equality for all, even if it does nothing to benefit the business or move it forward. So, a few questions to think about. Do you belong to the millennial group or the Gen X baby boomer group? In your opinion, what is more important, cognitive diversity, according to millennials, or everybody is the same, according to boomers and Gen Xers? In your opinion, does it matter if the company moves forward as long as everyone is treated the same? Diversity in the 21st century. Take a moment to think about how the workplace has evolved in the last 20 years, the last 15, the last 10, or even the last 5. How do you see yourself in today's workplace? As we have moved into the 21st century, what has become apparent is that it is important to understand and value each employee's differences. The workplace today brings together a blending of genders, race, religion, sexual orientations, age, and ethnicities. Today's workforce is a much more accurate reflection of the world. Each of us needs to have the ability to interpret and understand cultural differences and how they support the work environment. There are 5 important reasons listed here as to why diversity is important in the 21st century. Diversity equals productivity. Diversity in the workplace is vital for employees because of all it displays in positive ways. Bringing together people of various backgrounds with different life experiences can generate ideas or perspectives that others may not have even considered or even been aware of. When tackling an issue, wouldn't it be better to have multiple interpretations and approaches rather than everyone contributing the same thought and conclusions? Everyone has their own way of viewing a problem, often influenced by the individual experiences that they've had. Have you ever been at work and had to work with someone who was very different from you? How did that experience work out? Did you find that you had a lot in common or just a little in common? What was the experience like for you? Think of a time when you noticed how diversity has helped you with your team productivity. Workplace diversity is important for the company from the inside as well as from the outside. When there is a great diversity program in a company, you are more apt to have more loyalty to the company and its mission, which is a win-win for everyone. Here's a question for you. Think of a time when you noticed how diversity has helped a team that you were a part of and how it helped you to become more productive. Becoming a world citizen opens doors and opportunities for employees across the world. The importance of workplace diversity cannot be overstated when it comes to an organization's ability to reach markets in foreign countries. When this happens, you as an employee are faced with 2 very distinct opportunities. 1, opportunities for promotion, and 2, employee development. When you experience diversity in your everyday life, you have regular exposure to people, cultures, traditions, and practices that are unlike your own. You learn the skills to communicate and interact with communities and concepts that you are unfamiliar with, and you gain a worldlier view. This helps to grow your social development while increasing your understanding of the world. The same is true when you work for a diverse company. When you have the ability to interact with employees from all over the world, your appreciation of others and the value that they bring to the team grows. A global marketplace opens doors for employees of different ages, physical and mental abilities, and ethnic backgrounds. Perspective allows employees to see how many members of the workplace have been marginalized in some way in the workplace. Many members of the workforce have been marginalized or discriminated against due to racism, ageism, sexual orientation, gender, and disabilities. Hearing about another's experience can shed light on a life different than your own and provide you a new perspective. Not only is this discrimination unethical and illegal, but when people are unable to find work or are not able to earn a wage that is consistent with their training and abilities, their standard of living suffers and they become less financially secure. This not only has an impact on individuals and their families, but can also take a toll on the community at large, as talents go unused and there is less money being circulated in the local economy. When you stop and think about and compare your struggles, priorities, and values, you can really begin to have a better comprehension of where an individual is coming from and understand his or her actions and behaviors. A couple of questions to think about. Have you ever been discriminated against because of some personal thing about you, whether it was your age, race, gender, or sexual orientation? And how did that make you feel? Have you ever made a decision about someone based on how they look, how they speak, what they believe? How did that opinion help you, or how did it hurt you? Growing acceptance, diminishing discrimination. Workplace diversity fosters mutual respect among employees. Promoting diversity is the first step to not just tolerance, but true acceptance. Through growing contact with, exposure to, and communication between new people and unique ideas, you may see that you have more in common with others than you thought. Workplace diversity fosters mutual respect among employees. Whether employees work in groups or teams made up of coworkers or varied work styles, or disabilities, or groups or teams who represent different cultures or generations, a collaborative work environment becomes the norm. Although a peaceful atmosphere may be difficult to achieve all the time, employees who begin to understand and recognize the many strengths and talents that diversity brings to the workplace, and as a result begin to gain respect for their colleagues' performance. What are some things that make you different? Do you have different hair? Multiple piercings? Have you ever had differences in the workplace? How many times have you been judged based on the way you look or the way you talk? Diversity is colorful. It's like a bag of Skittles with all of its differences, and that's good. What if everyone who surrounded you was exactly like you were in every way? Where is the fun in that? We need new ideas, views, and practices to stimulate and inspire us, to show us the way others eat, celebrate, and love. Yet, when there are a lot of differences, there will inevitably be conflict in the workplace. That is why, although you see and understand the differences in the team you are on, you look for the similarities, particularly when there are common goals that everyone is working towards. When team members have respect for each other, two things happen. The likelihood of conflict reduces, and when conflict does occur, it becomes easier to resolve. Workplace diversity preserves the quality of employees' relationships with each other and their supervisors. Together, the differences make a strong, beautiful working environment. They make a richer life experience. The Equal Employment Opportunity, also called EEOC. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission is the agency responsible for enforcing federal laws regarding discrimination or harassment against a job applicant or an employee in the United States. The EEOC was formed by Congress to enforce Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. It is headquartered in Washington, D.C. and has 52 field offices throughout the United States. The EEOC investigates discrimination complaints based on the individual's race, national origin, religion, sex, age, disability, sexual orientation, gender identity, genetic information, and retaliation for reporting, participating in, and/or opposing discriminatory practices. They also provide measurable metrics for companies to set goals and make concerted efforts to boost diversity in the workplace. These social categories are typically defined in some version of a non-discrimination statement of policy on a company's website, in their employee handbook, or posted throughout the company. If you ever have questions or concerns about these practices within an organization, refer to the company policies and procedures, manual for hiring practices and processes, or contact your HR department for further guidance. Differences can be challenging. If you've got an identical group of people who all think alike, it is easier to reach a comfortable consensus. Diversity means including people who are not identical, who have different perspectives, different experiences, different opinions, and perhaps different working styles or expectations. You can be much more successful on the job and in the world when you are able to see beyond the differences and embrace those differences. Diversity brings so that everyone is and feels included. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to anyone on the Career and College Transitions team. We are here to support you and want you to be successful. Thank you for your time today.